Hello there, welcome back to Crafters TV. It's the weekend. It officially starts right here. It's 7 p.m. In the UK, 2 p.m. across on the East Coast. It is time for our weekly destination colouring show. Yes, of course, it is time for Colour Me Happy. A really lovely mixed bag of stuff coming up for you in the show this evening, which is excellent. We've got some of our most popular launches. We've got some amazing deals as well, and a little sprinkling of mixed media in there for good measure as well. And when we think of sprinklings of mixed media, we of course think of Jan Brown. She's back with me in the studio. How are you, Jan?
I'm great, thank you. And it's unusual for me to be here on a Friday, Joe. So I'm really looking forward to this one. And obviously anything to do with colouring is just up my street. The fact that we've got different colouring mediums on the show today, fantastic. I'm just going to run you through one or two samples that I've got just to show you what we've got coming up on the show. So those beautiful, I've just posted on social media about the acrylic paint markers. If you've not got yours yet, they are selling fast. So this is just an idea of a background for a card, but there are so many more things that you can do with them. So they will go straight onto glass. All right, so you can go directly onto glass with them. You can decorate home decor items with them. So the little candle holders here, all being done with the acrylic paint markers. What about decorating your own glasses case there? Absolutely great fun, and we're going to start the top of the show with those in a little while. And then we've also got coming up later the Resist background stamp, so we're going to have a play with those. We're going to do a bit of heat embossing for our producer Johnny, so he loves the heat embossing. So yeah, that's just one of them. And then you've got that gorgeous mandala stamp there as well. That's a part of the set, so just a couple of ideas. We've also brought tonight the Eclipse alphabet, which is brilliant. So this is how it's intended.
That's right up your street.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and using those different colour mediums on the back of there, it's intended to do the eclipse idea. You can see where the letters have just been raised out of there, but I just think this is a terrific size alphabet just to have in your stock anyway, in your stash. Another idea for you there with the word thanks, the way that's been split up, and all the background stamps are part of the collection as well, so you've got those. I'm going to show you how to use those later in the show. And then one of my favourite products, I keep bringing these back for you, those beautiful 12 by 12 stencils. So again, different mediums there. We've got ink in the background, we've got some glitter going on there. And then I'm going to use this one, but in a very different way. This is actually the stone one, done with some inks on that one, but we're going to use some chalk paint on it later on in the show. So lots to bring you. Got itchy fingers again, Joe. I can't wait to get started.
Yeah, there's loads coming up in the show. Definitely head over to the website, crafterscompanion.co.uk.au. Have a little look under the Shop the Show button there and see everything that is coming up in the show. We're going to start off with acrylic markers for you. It is National Bring Your Dog to Work Day. Look at, I need you all to meet Bruce. All say hello to oh, I thought we were going to see Bruce.
Hello, Bruce.
Look at Bruce.
Look at him.
I feel like we need to get a closer look at Bruce.
Little bundle of fluff.
Absolutely. I think we need a good look at Bruce.
Oh, wow. That's gorgeous.
That's what I look like when I'm waiting for my dinner. My tongue pokes out a little bit and I've got my handkerchief ready to go. But what you can see is here, this is those amazing acrylic markers that have been used there. That is Bruce, and that is Cheryl Clayton's dog. Isn't he a cutie?
He's absolutely gorgeous.
We are, of course, talking about those acrylic paint markers. They are amazing. They are we launched them Tuesday last week. However, we had thousands of these. I think they could go in the show today. 80% of the stock of these has sold out and gone. If you want to get your hands on them, now's a great time to do so. So you're going to get the bright, the essential, the jewel and the pastel in there as well. 16 markers for you, £20 or £25.60 as Club Inspire Platinum members. I know Jan's just shown you a few things there that you can do with these, but they are excellent. These are not mine, no, before you ask, but you can use them onto things like denim, and also you can see there for drawing on things like your fabrics. They're going to be absolutely incredible. Also, on things like ceramics, of course, they're going to be fantastic on there. How about on things like canvases too? You're going to be able to use these on everything pretty much. I love this one just here as well that I want to show you. You can see that one there. That is again was created by the lovely Cheryl. So loads you're going to be able to do with these. Brilliant, I think, if you are a crafter. I mean, you could give these to anyone. You don't need to be a crafter to use this because they go on so many different mediums. If you've got these and you've been using them, we'd love to see some of your creations. Loads of you tuning in and saying hello already. Georgie Ann's in Florida, Mary Pat's in Montana, Patty's in Michigan, Nora is in Arizona, Rhonda's in Chicago, Elizabeth's in Texas, Jutta is in Germany, Pamela's in New York, Lisa's in Minnesota. Loads of you tuning in and saying hello to us this evening, this afternoon, depending on where you are. Something else I really need to just quickly share with you is this gorgeous collection just here, which is our background building collection. Now, this is fantastic for building up all those inky backgrounds that you might want to go for. Two different sets of cardstock in here. So you've got the watercolour, and you've also got a Neenah cardstock in here. You're going to get the palette, the craft mat, the round blending tool, and also the refills for that. You've got a couple of different ink pads in here. You've got your tape pen and one of our great quality 19mm nylon brushes too. Something else we're going to talk about as well, wasn't it? It was National Bring Your Dog to Work Day today. So send us some pictures of your pets. We'd love to see them, specifically your dogs, but I think it's an open door policy when it comes to pets. If you've got a picture just like our gorgeous little Bruce here, then send it into a studio@crafterscompanion.co.uk. Studio@crafterscompanion.co.uk is where you need to send them into. I think we're going to have to start, Jam, though, with those acrylic paint markers because I don't think they're going to last the show.
No, I don't either. As I say, I've just posted on social media to let the let our friends know that they are going fast. And honestly, I've had a play with these, and they go on so many different surfaces. They come to you in sets of 4. So you've got 4 different sets of 4, and I've taken mine out of the box here just to show you all the different ones. So we've actually got the jewel set, really nice bright colours in there. So 2 purple tones, what I call the blue purple and the pink purple, orange one, and then like a neon pink in there. And then you've got the pastel set as well, which has also got a lilac-y shade in. Works beautifully with these two if you like the monochrome look. And then you've got that lime, the blue, and then more pastel pink in this one. You've got the brights, which has got your primary colours in, plus your green one in there. So again, you've got 2 shades of green if you're doing foliage and things like that. Absolutely brilliant. And then our essentials set, if you buy nothing else today, this one is the one to go for. So you've got black and white in there. All of you, I know there was some conversation on Facebook, on social media the other day about what are the best quality white pens to use. Now this one comes up, I've got loads of different ones, and I use another sort of well-known brand white one, but this one literally, so for highlighting over things like your alcohol markers, your watercolours, absolutely beautiful. Because it's acrylic paint, you're going to get a nice coverage. The black one outlining things like that, and then you've got silver and gold in there. So even just something as simple as writing greetings inside your card with those at Christmas and things like that, absolutely beautiful. They've all got a really nice bullet nib on them, so you've got that that opportunity there to do. And I'm going to do some writing with them later on in the show. Now, I think a lot of these are primed ready, but when they come to you, obviously the nibs will be, I've not checked which ones are used and which ones aren't. The nibs will be white. Here we go. So I'll show you how to actually activate these as well. So the white, when they come to you, you've got the paint, you've even got a little gauge in here to show you how much paint's left in there. So as it goes down, you know when to sort of restock. And then inside, there's the little ball bearing in there, which actually mix all that paint together when they've been sat or, you know, been sort of stood. So give them a really good shake to get them going. And then, as I say, I'll show you how to get them started. So let me just grab a little bit of black card because it will show up better on there. And when you first get them, they will all come to you, as I say, with the white nib. So first of all, give it a good shake. Get that ball bearing, mixing that paint up, make sure it's all nice and juicy and ready to go. And then all you need to do is actually like a pump action. So just gentle with it, pumping it up and down, and it will encourage that paint to flow. And you'll see it, you can see here right on the nib, if we can just get our Charlotte in nice and close, you can see where that paint is actually coming down the nib there, yeah? The colour's starting to actually flow down. So just keep going until it's actually saturated the nib, and you'll see It literally working its way down there.
Bruce is mesmerised, Joe.
Is he?
Yeah, he's
Is he
really
actually
mesmerised.
paying attention?
He's paying close attention.
Bless him. He's very well behaved, isn't he?
No, here he is. He's so well
Not
behaved.
heard a peep out of
He hasn't
him.
taken his eyes off you the
Has
whole
he
show.
not?
There he is.
Look at
having a
him,
lovely
bless him. So you can see now that we've got that paint flowing there. And once you've done that, it's actually ready to go. You don't
fabulous.
need to do that every time you open them up. Once you've got that paint flowing, it's good to go. And again, then you've got that lovely coverage of paint with them.
Oh, excellent.
So really nice colours and really good coverage. This is our matte black cardstock and straight onto card without any problem. So let's have a look at other surfaces that we can go on there, because I've been playing with these for the last few days and I'm actually sat there while I'm crafting sniggering to myself, Joe, because in my head I'm thinking this is classed as work.
Yeah,
This is
absolutely.
my work, and I'm literally sat colouring with paint pens. My husband's like, what are you doing? Painting pebbles, painting CDs, you name it.
So
I said,
much fun,
working,
isn't it?
love. And he just laughed at me, shook his head and laughed at me. So I've been having a play with some of the pastel set.
Oh, that's excellent.
Just been making like mermaid shells on this one. So I've chosen all 4 colours from the pastel set there and literally gone straight onto an old CD. So it's actually a blank one. It was a set of blank CDs that we'd got lying around and literally gone, nothing to prepare it. You can still see I've left some of the CD at the bottom. I'm going to do a little bit more with you. And literally just going straight onto the CD. So let's just make sure these are all good to go.
These could be your own sort of upcycled coasters, couldn't they?
Yes, they could, yeah. And I think, was it Johnny made a suggestion earlier about hanging them to catch the light as well, sort of hanging them in the garden,
Nice.
things like that.
Or a statement earring.
A statement earring.
I think so. Could be great for that.
I'm just going to get that pink one going because we just need some paint down on that one. Just to get that working.
Really great value as well when you think about you're getting all 16 of these for
There
this
we
price.
go.
When they do sell out, as we said, it will be the essentials that sells it out. So the other 3 will be available, but you won't be able to come back and get them on this deal. They will actually be, essentially, to buy 3 once this bundle sells out will cost you £24. So essentially, you're getting the 3rd one for £1 if you're in the UK. So definitely worth getting them now whilst this bundle is in stock. So when it does sell out, the other 3 will cost you £24. So Platinum members today as well, £20 or £25, 60. I mean, to get a whole set of anything for that price is amazing. But when they are this great quality, I'm always just blown away by the amount of surfaces that they go on to, Jack. You're going to find yourself literally painting everything in the house, aren't
Just
you?
trying everything, yeah, and see what it works on. I mean, can you see how nicely they're covering? I mean, that's straight on to a blank CD. Nothing fancy, I've not done anything to it. I'm literally going straight onto the CD and just colouring those in. So I'll just do a little bit more on there for you, and then I've got a couple of other things to show you as well. And just alternating the colours, so just going through them, deciding which one comes next. Complete mix of them. Okay, that purple wants a little bit more paint in there. It's not been, you see how it's gone a little bit watery, that one? Just actually show you, see there, just not got the paint mixed properly, and that's why it's important to give them that shake. So again, it should be like opaque, your paint, that's better, look, that's giving you that coverage there. Just go over. You can do more than 1 layer. If you're not getting the coverage that you want, you can let it dry and do more than 1 layer. And again, I'm not going to finish this off. We can come back to it later if need be, because I've got so many different ones to show you. But just taking this all the way across there, with those 4 shades, you can use any of your colours. And then I actually took the silver one from the Essentials kit and literally just outlined them. So the ones that were dry at the top there, just between the actual mermaid scales, I'm just going in with that silver one.
Amazing that they layer over each other as
well.
well.
Absolutely. Once they're dry, you can go straight over the top of them, and it dries a little bit lighter once it's dry, but just to define them. I'm just going to leave that bottom row for a second until it's dry, otherwise you'll start mixing them.
How long do they
just
take to properly dry, Jan?
To be honest, not long. I would say sort of 5 minutes or so. I mean, I started up at the top here, and by the time I'd got down to the sort of 4th or 5th row, these were actually drying at the top. We're pretty much nearly there on the middle ones. I've just shaken the purple one. It was a little bit wet. But yeah, not long at all, absolutely. And then then, you know, all sorts of things. I've been playing with, I was stealing pebbles out of the garden.
Wow,
so
look at
literally
that.
straight onto pebbles and things like that. So we'll do a little bit of that later in the show. Now, I actually gessoed mine first because this was quite a dark pebble. It's more like a rock than a pebble, isn't it? It's got a good weight. I wondered why
What's
my
the
bag was
difference
heavy
between
earlier.
when does a pebble become a rock? That's what I don't know.
Yeah, but can you see how dark it was? And I thought, right, I'll just put some gesso, just a thin coat of gesso. And what it's done, it's allowed those colours to show nice and bright. And there's a mixture there. They've got both of the greens in there. So we had the green from the pastel set, which is the limey colour. And then the green from the primary set, which is that darker green.
Nice.
And then the blue one again, the turquoisey blue one. So yeah, I'm going to do a little bit more of that later. We'll come back to that later. And then I was also going through my stash and found these are just something that I've had for absolutely ages. They're like a little sort of like a chipboard piece, and I've got them in different sizes in a drawer, and I just thought, right, we'll have a play with those. So what I'm actually going to do on here is just sort of a little bit of freehand drawing, and I'm actually going to use the black one. So we'll just make sure that that's going, that's flowing. And what I want to do is just put a design on here. And as I say, I'm just going to literally free flow with it. So we're going to go sort of up one side and up the other side. And then you can literally take your black to it. And look how easy that's covering.
The coverage is excellent,
it's actually
isn't it?
quite a smooth surface, this. But you're getting a really, really nice coverage on there. So again, anybody that likes using sort of the black markers, and just look how easy. You know, these would be great for the kiddies to play with. They're actually water-based.
Okay.
So if you were to get them, you know, sort of on your clothing or anything, they will wash out. So not to worry too much about that. So again, just make sure that that paint's flowing nicely. And I found sort of smaller areas, rather than sort of trying to do big, large areas, is better. And if you go over it while it's still wet, you find that it might pull a little bit of paint off, but once it's dry, you can actually go over and put a second layer in. So I'm literally just, I'm going to do this one side, and then as I say, what we'll do is, rather than doing a full sort of demo with them, I'm going to keep coming back to these because I don't think the stock that we've got is going to last through the whole show.
Over 80% of these have gone. Now, a lot of these in baskets already. Could be your last opportunity is to see these for a while. Absolutely, we'll be getting them back in again. However, this stock has only just landed last week, so by the time we've reordered them and more stock comes in, I mean, it could be a wee while. So if you want them, if you've seen them, you've been thinking about them, now is a great opportunity to grab them. They are also matching that launch offer too, so it's great you're still able to get that launch price. When this deal sells out, we'll bring you the other three back, but as we said, individually they will cost you £24, so you're getting the fourth set for £1 extra at the moment, so definitely worth grabbing them.
So again, I'm just sort of winging this a little bit, but my idea behind here is that we're going to go for sort of a piano look on here.
Oh, nice.
So 1, 2, 3, miss one. 1. It's a bit elongated, but you get the idea. 2, 3.
Oh, that's excellent, Jan.
Miss one. 1. I actually learnt to play piano when I was younger.
Did you?
Yeah, it's a very, very long time ago. I don't know whether I could still do it now.
I went for
1, 2,
one
3,
lesson.
miss one. Did you?
Loved it, never went back.
I didn't enjoy it when I was little. I sort of found that I was being forced to practice and it didn't go as well as it could have done. And now I wish that I really had. And my daughter actually, she took up piano. She learned the piano as one of her main instruments when she was doing all her music, and then went on to uni and did a degree with it.
Oh, excellent.
So yeah, just to give a little bit. And as I say, I really am just freehanding here.
That's excellent. Imagine the gifts that you're going to be able to create.
You know, so again, you know, hang it on a little bit of white ribbon. However, you know, as I say, it's just a bit of freehand. It's knowing when to stop. It's like step away from it, Jan. You know, you can tidy up a little bit. Obviously, we're working a lot quicker here. You can take your time at home. But, you know, just again, it could be the topper for a card. You know, something like this. It's not very thick. It's not very weighty. So you could actually use it as a topper. You can even, I like to just go around the edge as well, even though the edge is actually slightly different because it's the layers of paper inside that have made up the shape. You can still see how that paint's going over.
Bruce is loving it.
The edges. So again, just as I say, a little bit of freehand going on. Oops, I've just caught the front there. But you can actually take you know, right round the edge if you wish. And as I say, what we're going to do is keep popping back to these. Got different things to show you. I'm going to do some work on the pebble later on. We're going to do some freehand writing with it on the paper later on. So I just wanted to sort of get you into that and give you the heads up that they are selling fast if you haven't got yours yet. So we will come back to those in a little while, if we've got them left, Joe. I've got a couple of other things to show you, but for now, we're going to get on with some of the other bits and bobs on the show as well.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we would love to spend more time on them. We just don't have the stock of them, I'm afraid. They are very busy. Remember what you're getting in here. They were new last week. They've been incredibly popular since we launched them. So what you're getting in here is getting the brights, you're getting the essentials, you're also getting the jewels and the pastels. So you get all 4 of those in there, which is absolutely awesome. You see them all there. Bruce is having a lovely time. Right, loads of you tuning in. A lot of you letting me know that you've ordered those already. A lot of love for Bruce as well in the comments. Gillian's new. She says, hi all, new here. Lovely to meet you. Hi, Gillian. We love a newbie. Rhonda says, hello, Jan. Received the mermaid card from Ben's Facebook giveaway. Thank you for donating it. I love it. How nice is that? Cindy's been on a staycation from work this week and I've watched every show. I am so ready to retire and spend my days being inspired by Crafter's Companion. Oh, I wonder how long, Cindy, to go. Jen says, oh, and he's wearing bees as well, talking about little Brucey here. Evelyn says, OM gosh, Brucey is so cute. So much love for Brucey. Deborah says she ordered the markers and Yodel delivered them today. I'd love to know what you think of them, Deborah. Christine, the lovely Christine in the Netherlands, she's placed her order on these. Kathy got a couple of sets for these. They'll be awesome at the cottage for a rainy day of rock painting. That sounds like an awesome idea. Susie T got these and also a set for her daughter. Evelyn wants to know if they dry matte or glossy, Jan.
They do dry quite matte, but if you want a glossy finish, you know, we've got the product for you. This will go over the top of your acrylic markers as well. So once it's dry, you can add our glossy highlights if you're wanting that glossy finish on there. So we've got that covered as well for you.
Excellent. I'll give you the details for that then, because that's what we're going to take a look at next. $5.99 and $6.95. I kid you not, we sold thousands of these when we launched them last Friday. So it's great that we've still got that in stock. Again, we're repeating that launch offer for you, $4.79 or $5.56 for Club Inspire Platinum members. Been very busy on those again all day today. I think a lot of you went for the Earlier Nature's Garden collection, have popped one of those into your basket too. So that's coming up for you. The other thing as well I want to share with you is these, because they are absolutely gorgeous, and it is the Resist stamps. Now these are fantastic. These have been designed specifically for you to do your heat embossing resist techniques. That does not mean that you're not going to be able to do all of the other techniques that you know and love when it comes to your stamping. Of course you're going to be able to do that. Let me take you through the different designs that you've got in here, because they are absolutely gorgeous. You get them all in here for that price as well. So you can see you've got your gorgeous florals in here. I love that one there. It's like a cherry blossom, which is just stunning. You've got that wonderful mandala in here. We then also move into this one. It's very sort of Asian inspired, this one, isn't it? Then you've got this one here, which is your floral surprise, and your butterflies in there as well. You get all 6 of those, which is excellent. You are also getting as well the, it's a nice clean one, the transparent clear watermark ink pads. That's going to be amazing for you. It's that sticky ink, so you can do all of your heat embossing with these too. Gorgeous stamps in their own right, Jan, these, but great when you start to do those resists, aren't they?
They are, yeah, and we're going to have a look at it in its resist form today. But I mean, you know, stamp them up in any colour. They are just a beautiful set of stamps. So you can stamp them in black, in colours. I'm actually going to do them in white embossing powder, similar to this one, and then put the ink over the top of them and show you what I mean by the resist if you haven't come across them. But if we just have a look at these, I've got 1 or 2 samples for you that I'm just going to show you from the front there first. So that's those lovely butterflies in flight. So the idea is that you do the stamping first and then you add your colour, and the embossing powder will resist the coloured ink, which is where it gets its name from. You've got the beautiful, I just love the colours on this one. Absolutely gorgeous. That would make a, you know, a lovely birthday card for anybody, any age really, wouldn't it? It's sort of quite generic. That's that gorgeous cherry blossom that Joe was just talking about. Again, beautiful. Just done in some slightly different colours, and that one's been stamped in the black and then worked in with the colour. We've got those beautiful flowers again there on that one, just completely, but when you look at the first one, where are we gone? I thought I'd had one of those. Oh, it was at the beginning I showed you the other one of those, yeah. So they look completely different, yeah? And then, look, this one's beautiful, the mandala one. Absolutely gorgeous. And that one, I think, lends itself for chopping into there, stamping it more than once, layering it up on some foam to get some dimension on there. And then I'm going to use the wildflowers one, which is this one. So really delicate. Again, you can add as much colour or as little as you want. But we're going to stamp it in the white like it is here. And then we're going to use some ink behind it just to show you what I mean by the resist effect for it. So let's pop those to one side. I've taken some watercolour card from our builder kit. So again, good staple to have in your stash. Watercolour cards perfect for anything that is going to need, sort of anything that you're going to put water on basically. So if you're going to start diluting things, spritzing it, I'm going to do the heat embossing on here. It's a really good one to go to. Also got the Nina card back, and that's in that builder kit as well. And that's sort of the opposite version. Really smooth card, and I use that for my colouring when I'm doing my alcohol colouring. So I've just cut a piece that's slightly bigger than the stamp set there, and again I've chosen wildflowers and butterflies. So when we take this one out, let's have a little look. Have we got a sizing on there? Yeah, 6x4. So I've just cut my card just a wee bit bigger so that I can get it, and I'm using the stamping platform because I want to get a really good coverage with the ink. So I've got everything ready. When we're heat embossing, I've got a series of bits and pieces that I've got ready. Have you
got your pretend heat tool with you?
I've got my pretend heat tool, especially
Fabulous.
for producer Johnny.
I feel like we need... Do you want to turn it on for us?
Turn it on. Turn it on.
I feel like we need a sound effect that we play out over Jan's heat tool so we actually know it's working.
But yeah, when we're actually doing this kind of stamping and embossing, not so much with the white and the clear, but if you're using like a gold powder or certainly a black, it's great to use that anti-static bag first. Now, we've talked about this several times now. You can buy these as a little pouch like I've got. If you haven't got one, then you can use talcum powder, you can use cornstarch, anything like that that's like a chalky substance. And basically what you want to do is cover the card and just sort of as if you're rubbing it into the surface of your cardstock. And what it does, it removes any kind of, if you've got fingerprints on the card or if there's any bits, because embossing powder loves to stick to absolutely anything, but you only want it to stick to the stamp. And then we're going to take this off here, beautiful photopolymer stamps. You're going to get a really nice image from these every time. So just persuade it to part with the carrier sheet, and I keep them all on there because it's a really nice way to keep them, keeps them safe. And then I'm going to lay this one over the top so that it's just inside that sheet there, okay? And then pick it up with the top of my stamping platform, and then we're going to come to that clear ink. So I've got some white embossing powder at the ready. I'm going to take the lid off that one and get everything ready. I've also got a little bit of paper there to catch my embossing powder in when we're ready. And mine's not so clean, Joe. Mine's a well-loved one, so it's starting to look a bit tired. It's not bad, but it's starting to look a bit tired now. Now, the reason I've put it on the stamping platform is because the watercolour card is quite absorbent. I wanted to give it more than one coat to make sure that we've got every little bit covered. So ink it up systematically. Don't sort of go like this and not know where you've put the ink. Sort of, I tend to come down one side, back up the middle, and down the other side so that you know that you've got all the areas covered there. And then literally we're going to stamp it out once, and then I'm going to go a second time because I've got the platform. I know that it's going to go down in the same place, and I know then that I'm going to have every single piece of it covered, ready to receive that embossing powder. So just in case I've missed a little bit there, we're going to ink it. You can't, this is the only thing about demonstrating this. You'll not see much of it until we've got some powder on there. But again, just make sure you've got every bit of it covered with the ink. And I'm going to do that a second time just as an insurance policy in case I actually missed any on the first go. Okay, so again, just give it a good press down And then that should transfer that lovely sticky ink, and it's clear and it's sticky, so it's going to receive that embossing powder. So when we take this off here, I need to be careful now not to touch the design that's got the embossing powder on. And then I'm going to bring in that carrier sheet just to catch the powder, and then literally pop this on.
Oh, it's like magic, Jan. I never
I love
tire
it,
of seeing this
honestly.
particular technique.
I started out sort of stamping and embossing when I first started crafting, and still today I love the effect it gives. Now we're doing white on white, which is not the best to see on TV, but once we start with the ink, you'll see what I mean about it resisting the actual embossing powder. So I've got my embossing on there. Now then, if I tip that, you can just see
yeah,
now
really see that.
where we've got that white on white. So we've got the stamping card in the background. This is actually just needs heat setting now. So I'm just going to pop that back in my little tub there. And then we're going to pop the non-existent heat tool on and melt it.
Amazing.
Okay.
Lots of
so-
you gone for this and love it. Donna says she loves the sunflower. Patty says I bought the Resist stamp collection. Can't wait to use it once I get my craft room back together. And Donna Baker was talking about that magnetic stamping platform, saying it was an absolute game changer for her when it comes
Honestly,
to
it has
stamping.
been for a lot of people, Joe. If you haven't got one, they are worth investing in, just purely because you can literally go back over what you've done and not worry about whether it's, you know, sort of missed it, whether you've got to try and line it up. Now, I'm just letting the heat tool, it is turned on, much to their disbelief, and I'm just letting it heat up. The warmer your heat tool is, the less warping you'll get on your card. The longer you have heat on your cardstock, the more the card will warp, and then you're trying to straighten it out again. Now again, top or from underneath as pure preference. On TV, I like to try and work from underneath. I want to try and see if we can get there we go, look, just in there. So I'm starting in this top corner with
You need to turn it on apparently, Jan.
producer Johnny saying we need to turn it on, and I can see here, I don't know how well it's picking it up
Oh
on
yeah, I
the
can
camera.
see that going.
Yeah, but it's actually changing it from that sort of almost got a grey tone to it, and it's changing it to pure white now. Once it's melted, move on to the next part of your design. Don't stay over that area too long once it's melted, because it will literally just melt into your cardstock eventually. All right, so we've literally done one side there. I'm just going to turn it round so that we can come back down the other side there. Just tilt it. There we go. Look,
Oh,
you
wow,
can
yeah,
see
you can
that
see that,
way.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's going from that sort of, you're looking at it and it's looking white there on TV, but now once I've heat embossed it, it's almost disappeared. But we're going to bring that back with the inks. So I'm just using my little tweezers there just to hold it, because I don't want to burn my fingers. If I can get that back in there. There we go. And just that last little bit to do in that, whoops, in that top corner there. So where it looks white now on screen, once I've embossed it, it's almost like disappearing into the card. So that's finished. Once it's finished, leave it. Don't actually keep going over it and wafting the tool. It's finished, all right? Very little warping going on there because we let it heat up. Just going to leave it a second or two to dry and get my inks at the ready. So again, I've actually gone with the opaque. I love the opaque ink pads. They're actually my sort of favourites. I've got all three sets. I've got the quick dry. Use those for stamping with, absolutely great. Use them for the layering stamps, they're brilliant. I've got the water reactive ones, and then I've got the opaque ones, and I love these. Absolutely brilliant for blending with. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to apply some ink now to the cardstock. So I've got a little ink dauber for each different colour. And we're going to start with the blue at the top. So once this is, it only takes a few seconds to just dry off. And then what I tend to do before I actually go with the ink, because we put the anti-static powder on, is just give it a little buff to get rid of any sort of excess, if there's any residue on there, because you don't want your ink getting covered in that. So then I'm literally going to start at the top with the blue and work my way down. So again, just load up that ink sponge applicator, and these are we've got all these in the builder set for you. Just tap off any excess, and then I'm literally going to work my way down from the top, adding colour straight over the top of that actual embossing. I'm not worried, that's not going to move anywhere now. And you might think, well, it's covering it over, Jan. but just give it a go. Just see how we go. And then when we get to the end, we're going to buff it and it will take the ink off. I've forgotten to put my little mask on now. Let's just pop it. I've just made a little mask out of some sticky notes there, because what I wanted to do was I'll build up round it just to create the effect of like a moon or a sun in the background. So just pop it a little bit darker round there. Finish off that top layer, then we're going to move into the next colour and work our way down. So I think we should have got enough round there now to have left an impression, yeah, underneath. You see how we've just got that suggestion there. All right, so that's my Oasis. That was the lightest one of the turquoise family. Then I'm going to come in with Pink Tulip, which is the lightest one in the pink family. And we're just going to come a little bit further down with the pink now. So across the centre there. So literally blending it as it goes, and these will blend into each other beautifully. And again, you'll get that sort of tiny purple hue where the pink goes over the turquoise.
It's beautifully subtle, isn't it, this? I mean,
it
I
is.
guess, can you layer the colour up if you want to make it more intense,
If you want to use the darker shades, I've gone for the lightest ones out of the sets of 3 that we do with Spectrum. But if you use the mid-tones, you're going to get a much richer colour. If you use the 3 darker shades, it's going to be really vibrant for you. So, you know, depending on what look you want at the end is where you go with your colours. If I'd have used sort of parakeet here and then fuchsia and then grasshopper, I'm going to get a much deeper blend, but I wanted to keep it nice and pastel. So the last one's Spring Meadow, which I love this colour. It's one of my favourites. Absolutely gorgeous. So again, load up that sponge applicator, just check that it's not too much, and then we're going to meet at the bottom here. And the reason I've just got my cloth on here is because while the ink's wet, if I put my fingers on it, I'm going to get a lovely pattern of fingerprints in it, which I don't want in there. So a bit of tissue or your cloth, whatever you've got handy, just to cover it. And then I'm going to bring the green at the bottom and just bring it up to the edge of the pink. And because the pink's slightly paler, I'm going to go back to my pink applicator to blend that over the green. Otherwise the green would actually dominate the pink. So I just want to blend that across the middle there, and you've got that beautiful seamless blend going on. And then what we're going to do now is take the cloth. Let's just clean up that excess off the mat there with some water and get rid of that. And then we're going to use that cloth. We'll just get a dry part of the cloth. And literally, I'm going to buff this now. And just watch where this has sort of disappeared into the blue. Just watch how it pops back out when we actually look at this. Love it. Absolutely love it. And this is what we mean by resist. The ink won't stick to the embossing powder. So wherever you've got that embossing powder, it's literally going to take it back off. So the ink's not settling on there, and it brings it up really nice and white. Now, it may be your choice to do this in a black. You know, you might want the silhouette part of it black. So again, you could do the black embossing powder and then put your colours behind it. You might have paints. You could use the chalk paints behind here. You could use the pixie sparkles. We've got some of those on the show. Endless possibilities. But that's where I was heading with it. And then I just went round the edges of the cardstock with the respective colours, just to give it sort of that, take that white edge off the cardstock. So sort of each one in turn, just to take that white edge there off the bottom. And that's going to be the main sort of feature of my card. Now, what I did at home was exactly that. You can see I've got exactly the same thing going on here. Just added a couple of little gems in the centre of the flowers there. Slightly stronger in colour on this one. I was maybe a little bit lighter at home with this one, but they've got the same idea going on. And then literally, I want this to be the feature. So I've just cut a couple of mats and layers to fit on my card blank. And we'll use the double-sided tape. And I'm just going to go slightly on the wonk with these, just to make it a bit of a feature rather than everything being straight. So we're literally going to go that way with this one. So just almost tipping the edge of the card there with that piece. And that one's the same size as my mat and layer. So this original top piece measures 4.5 by 6.5. So then I will have gone up to 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. And can you see how it makes a difference with the black behind it? So to just put this one on here, it gets a little bit lost. But when you actually just pop that black mat behind it, I think it just brings everything together there.
Looks gorgeous.
So literally we're going to pop some tape on the back of here, and this is just, again, you know, we only get time to scratch the surface. This is just one idea with those resist stamps. There are loads of different things you can do with them. As I say, having a play with different coloured embossing powders, you'll get, if I did this with the black, it would look totally different with the black embossing on it. And then again, we're actually going to pop some tape on the back of there, and then I've just heat embossed a little sentiment to go. So I'm going to pop this one this way so that it sort of offsets. I didn't want too much of the pattern showing to distract from that topper. And then all I've done, and I've gone white onto black again this time to pick up the black from the background mat, but the white to link in with the embossing. Live Life in Full Bloom, which was from it's not on the show, but again, I've got a, you know, you've heard me talk about keeping a box on the table that's got all different ones in. So this is Just Because, and I've just taken this one at the bottom here to stamp out.
Nice.
So again, I've used the clear ink on it and then added the white embossing powder, just like we did on the original one, but this is on black card instead of onto the watercolour card. And then last but not least, I've just got it just felt with it having the butterflies here, I've just die cut a little tiny butterfly from one of my dies, and we're just going to pop that one to link it in with a little bit of glue. Oops, or a big bit of glue in that case. And this one's just going to sit on top of there to link it together. Okay, so just showing you how that resist works. This is the one that we've just done together, and then popping it on the card there to actually make it into a finished project for you guys to have a look at. So if we turn that one round, let's move some of this out of the way so that you can see, and then that's our finished design going on just there. So that's
Beautiful.
the resist, and that's just one of the set. As I say, the whole set, there's some really, really pretty designs. They all work in the same way, but have a play with them with the different coloured embossing powders and see what you come up with.
Bruce loved that. Bruce really enjoyed that demonstration.
Did he love it? He was very quiet again. He's obviously enthralled, isn't he?
Absolutely enthralled. He's having a lovely time. Rena, that's just one way of using that one stamp. Of course, as Jan was saying, play around with the colour combinations, play around with the different embossing powders that you may have. You don't need to use them in the embossing form. They make great stamps in their own right if you want to come back and add colouring with any of your colouring mediums whatsoever. Let me run you through the different floral designs that you are getting in here. Not just florals, of course, lots of variation in the designs. So there's that beautiful cherry blossom. We've also got the mandala in there. You're going to get this gorgeous one here. It's almost like kind of like an abstract sunflower, that one. Not going to need to add too much colour to that one if you don't want to. This one here is the one that you've just seen Jan use, the gorgeous one there with the butterflies and the meadow. And you've got, of course, those statement bold butterflies in there as well. You get all 6 of those. What you also are getting included in there as well is the watermark clear sticky ink pad too. So that means it's going to allow you to use any of the embossing powders that you may have, any of those coloured ones, those textured ones, especially the ones that we bought you recently from the likes of Cosmic Shimmer, are all going to work beautifully with this. Use it with the heat embossing, use it without the heat embossing, lots of different options when it comes to that. And also the great thing is that you buy 4 and you get 2 free in this particular combination. So do absolutely grab those. 31.19, 40.76 as a Club Inspire Platinum member, which is awesome. Loads of love for that last demonstration. Becky saying, I could watch and listen to Jan all day, such a fantastic teacher. I'd love to do a workshop with her. Maybe one day soon, you never know. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Jan.
You never know. You never know.
Debbie says, this is absolutely beautiful. Cindy saying, gorgeous card. Jean loved how pretty and soft it was. She's saving this presentation to her Jan folder. She has a whole folder of Jan.
Thank you very much.
I know. Karen loves watching you. Karen sent me a picture of her poms, apparently. I think she means her Pomeranians. Cecilia says she loved Jan's demos. Deborah says she'll definitely be watching this back to see Jan with those acrylic markers. Hers just arrived today. And Becky also saying beautiful card as well. If you want to get your hands on them, we've got them now on a great deal. We can see Karen's pair of poms. We'll see them very soon. There they are. Look at them.
How adorable.
Joey and Henry. She calls them her wild boys. What did I say? Joy. I think I said Joy. That's why, not Joey. I said Joy.
Beautiful.
Joy and Henry there, as you can see. Absolutely, what a gorgeous pair of pups. Right, I'm going to give you an opportunity to check out your baskets. It's incredibly busy over on the website at the moment, as we knew it would be. Here's all the details of US shipping. Take a look.
We've had to make some changes to our shipping charges and we want to keep you informed. With continued pressure on domestic shipments around mainland US, we've had to temporarily increase the cost of our regular 6 to 10 working day standard shipping service from $9.99 to $12.95 and our free shipping threshold from $100 to $125. We also have some really great news to tell you. We've introduced a brand new shipping service called Express Delivery. This is a fully tracked door-to-door service which takes 3 to 7 working days and costs $19.95. This option means you'll get your crafty goodies in your hands sooner, meaning less waiting and more crafting. We're also upgrading delivery services for our Gold and Platinum Club Inspire members who will now receive priority delivery on all of their orders. And if that wasn't enough, we've upgraded these orders to our new Express 3 to 7 day service. Your patience and understanding throughout this very busy time has been amazing. So we'd just like to say a huge thank you and we look forward to chatting to you again very soon.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters' companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% off your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every pound, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
Bruce is having a lovely taste, fast becoming the mascot of Colour Me Happy. Those amazing acrylic paint markers that have been used there to embellish Bruce's lovely frame. They are still available at the moment. They are going very, very quickly though. This could be your last chance to get your hands on the whole collection. The thing is, when the essentials sell out, you can come back and get the other 3. They'll cost you $23.97, I think it was what they'll cost you. So you may as well get the extra set for £1 whilst they are still in stock now. Lots of you gone for them, lots of you still going for them as well in this show, which is fantastic. We're going to move on to some stencils next, because of course stencils are a great way of allowing you to use a whole host of different colouring mediums through here. And these are a particularly gorgeous set of stencils. They are absolutely massive as well. They are a really big statement stencil for you, these ones. They will, of course, go through your Pro if you have them as an embossing folder, but really as a stencil in their own right, they're going to be great. If you like to work on larger projects, things like larger scrapbook pages, these are going to be fantastic for allowing you to do that. That was a Chesterfield leather. This one's the Moroccan tile. You've also got in here the deco tiles, which is gorgeous. This is your natural stone. You will also receive dots and spots, which I love. That could be champagne bubbles, that one, couldn't it? This one here is your sketched swirls. Then you've got the wood grain, and you've got the falling hearts in here as well. They should be $63.92 or $79.60 if you bought them individually. A great price there for Platinum members, $38.35 or $47.46. Of course, all of you getting some sort of Club Inspire discount, depending on where you are in the club. These are brilliant, Jan. I mean, stencils are always so versatile, but to have these large stencils really gives you extra ability, doesn't it?
It does. I asked her if we could have these back on because they have very much become a favourite of mine. I've got a lot of stencils at home in different sizes, you know, right from little tiny ones, 6x6s, long ones, A4 ones, but this one gives you the scope to work on a larger piece if you want to, but actually then bring it down to a smaller section, which we're going to work on a piece for a card front today. But I'm just sort of ad-libbing now because I was just thinking now to myself, we were talking about the paper pad from that beautiful collection earlier, and I'm literally just going to grab one of the pages here, and again, you know, you can, because these are not coated, I'm sort of going off piste a bit, I'm going off rogue. I'm just going to add, I'm not going to do the whole thing, but just literally pop your stencil on the corner here, and actually bring, I'm only going to do it lightly, but you'd be surprised, you know, you can just add that little bit of extra detail over the top of your papers.
And which
if
sort of ink palettes
you
are you
wish.
using here, Jan?
I'm back on my pigment ones again,
Awesome.
Joe. I've got different ones with me for different purposes, but for the blending sort of properties, I love the pigment inks. As I say,
they are my favourite pigments.
They've become a go-to one, I must admit. But you know, just to add, and it's very, very subtle, but if I just bring this up to the camera now in that corner, can we
just
pick
about
it
see
up in the
that.
corner? It's only very light there, isn't it? But just
Yeah, I
to
like
see
it
that
there.
little bit of addition, you know, so there's nothing to stop you adding. There we go, look, fantastic. Our Charlotte's zoomed in there for us. But you know, you can add that little bit of extra to it if you wish, and that's just, you know, just literally picking one of the pieces at random. What we're actually going to do is use some chalk paint with the stencil. So let's just pop the ink to one side, and let me just give that a little tiny rub over there. Now I've only picked quite a small piece of cardstock, and this is stamping card this time. It could be the watercolour card. I've actually gone with stamping card this time, and what I'm going to do is actually pop this, secure it on the back again just to make sure it's not going to move, and then we're going to use some chalk paint. Now we've got lots of different colours on the show, but Jan managed to pick one out of her box that wasn't on the show, so you may have already bought it in the past, but if not, there are lots of different colours available on the website, and we've got some, as I say, on the show as well. So I'm just going to take that in place on the back, and I'm just using that top section of it. Now this is actually Cosmic Shimmer chalk paint, and to be honest, I've used lots of chalk paints in the past, but this comes up second to none. You get really good opaque coverage from it, absolutely tons. They're a 50ml bottle, and when you see how little I'm going to use to just cover that space, it's going to go a long way. So again, just give it a shake. It's water based, so it will wash off anything, you know, sort of that you don't want it to be on, but it also means that you can use it with other products. So for example, I'm not going to do that today, but if you've got a plain white texture paste or a structure paste, something like that, you could actually colour it with the chalk paint to make it into a coloured paste, you know, that kind of thing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and keep that in vision for you, and then I'm just going to squeeze sort of it's less than the size of a penny coin there. We might need a little bit more, but we'll just take it there. Again, I'm using the blending tools that we've got in that builder kit. These come in handy not just for your inks, but for the paint as well. Now because I've used paint on it in the past, it has dried a little bit, so I'm just going to spray it with a bit of water and just dampen that up again so that it'll receive the paint there. We just move those out of the way. I'm making a right old mess again. I start off neat and tidy.
We do have some colours in stock for you. Do check the website for them. There's violet that you've got there on your screen, $3.75 or $6.75 if you're in the US. There is a few different options for you over on the website, so definitely check it out. Hit that shop the show button on the main page of the website, and you'll see all the different options that are there for you.
So literally all I've done is just soak it up there, just dabbing it up with my my blending tool, just like you would do an ink. And then just small circular movements, holding that stencil down. Although it's stuck at the back, I don't want it to move. And this dries really, really quickly because we're only putting a sort of a very sort of thin layer of paint on. It's actually going to dry quite quickly. Now, if you wanted a little bit deeper tone, you can actually build up the colour. So let it dry and then add another layer. But this has actually covered well enough, I think, to just put that one layer on. But you can see how far that little bit of paint's gone. I've got a piece here that's probably a good 6x4, if not a bit bigger, and hopefully we might just need a little bit just to get that last corner there. So just a fraction, a little tiny bit. I don't need a lot there at all, just a little bit there just to finish, rather than sort of dragging it out and getting it scratchy. So a nice good coverage on there. And again, if you want to use the repositionable adhesive on the back of your stencil, it works just the same. And then you know that everything's stuck down. You've not got the you know, the worry of it actually moving. So I can just see where it's a bit lighter is where it hasn't quite dried yet. Where it's gone darker, that doesn't look too bad to me there. We've got good coverage
I
going on
really love
there.
the finish of these chalk paints. I think
Honestly,
they're such a lovely finish.
really, I love the chalk. I love the matte sort of finish on them. So again, doesn't take long to dry. We're pretty much good to go with it already. So what I'm going to do is just clear off the bit off here first so that we don't end up stuck in there. And if you were watching earlier a wake up call, you'll all be pleased to know that I'm all good. We had to get the medic in, we had to get our John in because I cut my finger, but it's all good now. He did a good job, bless him.
He did, didn't he?
Looked
Patched it up well.
after me. Yeah, patched it all up. So again, we're just going to take that off the back with the tape there. Get rid of the tape. That was just to hold it in place. And it's just the low tack tape that I've used on the back of it. And you can see how it's got that beautiful, almost like a crazy paving.
It almost has, it looks like
there.
from here, it looks like it has like a texture to it as well, which is different to an ink.
It does feel textured, yeah. The ink sort of sits on the, you know, sort of just sits on the surface, whereas there is, I can actually feel where that grid's been in the middle here. There is just slight, it's not raised a lot, but if you run your finger over it, you can feel that grid pattern on it there. You're right, Joe. And again, if you were watching this morning, you saw me do this morning, just to get rid of anything so because it's water-based, everything cleans up with water. Now, in an ideal world, I would actually sort of have a nice water bath to just drop this in and then leave it there to soak ready and clean up afterwards. But again, if you were watching this morning, any residue that's left on there, pop it over a spare piece of card, just use a damp baby wipe, and again, this has actually been out, it's just dried a little bit, so let me just pop a bit of water in it because I'd had it out on the side, and again, just give it a good clean as if you're going to clean the stencil. And this is only going to be very faint because it's a light colour. You'd be able to see it better with a dark coloured paint, but it just cleans it off nicely, and then it pushes it through the areas in the stencil there. Okay, so we're not going to get a vast one with it being a very, very light colour. I don't even know whether you can see that on there. I've got a very sort of faint, it's not showing up very well on there, is it, with the colour? But a very faint ghost image going on here, which I could use again to build on as a background.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, I can see it there.
Yeah?
Yeah, I can see it there.
It is very, very faint, as I say, with it being a pale colour. But again, it's just a way of actually cleaning them off at the ready. So we've got that as our background, and this is the piece that I want to use as the background for the card. So again, just sort of get it flat again. And I've actually made a card blank, 5 3/4 by 7 3/4 this time. And again, I've matted it ready. It's exactly the same as what I did at home here. And I've just popped it onto a piece of black card again. Just makes a vast difference. Rather than popping this on the card as it is there, and it's sort of getting a little bit lost in the background, just by popping that black layer around it, just gives it that sort of lift off the card. So exactly the same as we did there, matted onto black card. We're going to pop that down first. In fact, I've got a little bit of twine that I want to wrap around there first. So I'm going to take a bit of the tape, and this is just out of my stash. I've got a couple of pieces there that I want to cross over like so. So we're going to tip those around the back and stick them down. Just use a bit of the tape, to seal them on the back. Okay, and then the same at the other side with the
Yolanda says Jan is the mixed media queen. She really is, Jan, isn't she? Really is, Yolanda. I have to agree with you.
I love just playing, Joe. You know, it's sort of like sometimes things don't work, you know, and it ends up in the bin. But I love just trying things out and playing with stuff and seeing what they can do. See how they behave with things that you've got in your stash already. And that's where I get my pleasure from it. You know, as I say, sometimes they don't work and I think, oh my days. You know, that's not going to see the light of day again, and off it goes in the bin. But, you know, sometimes you get a really pleasing result that you actually didn't think would happen. So, you know, don't be afraid to have a go with your products and see what they do. Just use some scrap card. I always think to myself, when you buy a pack of cardstock, I always end up with a colour that I'm not so keen on.
Right.
Turn it over, use the back of it. On the back of our Centura Pearl is almost the equivalent of stamping card. So if you've got a colour that you're not so keen on, turn it over, use the back and use it for practice. So we're just going to pop that one on the front there, just to mat and layer, just in normal fashion. And then I actually, because I was working with the new Nature's Garden collection, this one is really sort of generic, and we've got that gorgeous sort of bee blooms going on there.
If you want to go back to that earlier show, still available, the full collection actually, on the Beautiful collection. How long it will be for, who knows, because it was so busy during that launch earlier, but it's still available at the moment.
But I just think that image to me is just gorgeous for an actual embellishment. So what I did was stamp it out with some ink and then had a go at colouring. Now what I've used to colour with are some of my pixie powders. And we're going to do a little bit of technique work with these later. But the Sparkle Pixie Powders, I've got the Pale Blush, which we've got on the show, to do the petals on the flower. And then I used the Zesty Lime to do the leaves. And if I just get this in the light, you can see, just look at that shimmer on there. Absolutely beautiful, and that's what you get from the sparkles. And all I've done with this, just to show you how I actually used it, was just popped a little bit of water down on my mat and then popped some of the sparkle into the water. And you can actually use this then as a paint. So just taking your paintbrush and mixing it in, yeah?
Gosh, these are going to go a really long
They
way,
are.
aren't they?
And again, you know, you think, well, it's only a little bottle. You know, we've got 30 mils in there, but you use so little of it. And then, you know, you can actually use this then as a shimmer paint. Absolutely beautiful. So you can do your colouring with it. You could do a backwash with it. You could blend some of the colours with it. But once that's dry, it is still wet at the minute, but once it's dry, you get that gorgeous shimmer on it. Really, really pretty with the mica in there. So that's what I've used to colour with. I'm just going to leave that one over there for a second. And then I've left the centre. I haven't done the centre with the shimmer. I just used a alcohol marker in the middle here, because what I want to do with this then, and again, another product that I can't put down. It's like, what can I put some gloss on next? Yeah. So glossy highlights, absolutely beautiful. And this comes to you with the nozzle at the ready. Okay, and literally all I'm going to do here, in fact, I'll put it on the card first, otherwise I'm not going to be able to stick it down. So let's just pop, I'm going to pop, in fact, I'll pop a bit of hot glue behind there rather than risking my foam pads. You know what I'm like. If we pop some hot glue, it'll just raise it a little bit over the twine there. And I'm going to use that as the focal point there on the card, because I don't want to cover up too much of that lovely background that we've made with the stencil. All right, so we'll pop that down. Again, I've just taken a sentiment to go with it just for you there. Take the back off that one, and we're going to pop, because I'm going onto the chalk paint, I'm just going to add a little tiny bit of glue as well. Just pop that at the top, and then out of that same collection there, the stamp collection, you've got that lovely little bee there. So again, we've done the same with him. I've put a bit of sparkle on his wings, and I'm just going to pop that one on the top of the sentiment there. So sort of like mixing and matching, you know, what you've got in your stash, make them work for you. And then now that I've got everything in place there, because I can leave this to dry then, whoops, stick that bit down. Then we can come in with our glossy highlights. And literally all you're going to do is just squeeze gently, and it comes out sort of like, it looks milky when it comes out of the tube. So don't worry, don't think you've not done it right, because once it dries perfectly clear.
And we can use this on a whole host of things, can't we, Jo?
Yeah. Again, you'll be going around the house thinking, you know, what with the acrylic markers and then this, what can I gloss up next? What can I gloss up next? But yeah, onto lots of different surfaces as well. So as I say, it does look a little bit milky when you first put it on. We'll try and come back to it at the end of the show, and it should have started to clear. And then I'm going to put a little tiny bit on the bee as well, just because we can. Just, you'll find yourself thinking, what else can I do? What else can I gloss up? Yeah, it is beautiful, and it's so easy. I've worked with similar products to these, and it's done nothing but clog in the bottle. And every time I've opened the bottle, I've had to stick the pin in it. Now, I've used this several times during my prep this week, and I haven't once had to clear the nozzle. So again, you know, hats off to our Leanne. She tests these products.
3 years, apparently, this was in development.
Within an inch of their life, so that you know that that's literally going to do. So the other ones that I've got that are similar products to this are now going in the bin out of the way, because I've got the creme of the creme.
And you get you get plenty in there, don't you?
You've got the J on it just because it's my one from home. Okay. But yeah, absolutely, Jo. Is there actually a
60 mils, 2
60
fluid
is
ounces.
it? Yeah, 60 mils, all right. Clear medium, it does dry slightly raised as well, so you get a little bit of a domed effect with it. It's really, really good to do. So again, it's going to go a long way because, you know, it is a highlighter. You know, you're not going to cover a whole surface with it. If you wanted to, for example, make this look like a glossy tile, I would actually use my clear ink and a clear embossing powder to cover something that big. You'd find you'd get more use out of the embossing powder, whereas the highlights, clue in the title there, it is just to touch up those little bits. So as I say, we'll come back to that later in the show. I'm not going to pick it up too much because I don't want it to run, but you can just see there where we've got that stencil doing the work in the background, just with a few little bits of embellishment. So I'm going to lay it down again quick before it dribbles too far. All right, so that was the stencils there.
Excellent. Let me run you back through the options then that you're getting in here. Well, there's not an option. You're going to get all of them, which is fantastic. So you're going to get the Chesterfield leather, which is this one just here. Really beautiful design. Lots of open space there on that one. You will also get the Moroccan tile, which I love. One of my favourites that. You've then got as well the deco tiles, as well as a natural stone. This one here is your dots and spots, and you're also going to get the sketch swirls, the wood grain there for you, and also the love hearts are in there as well. Make sure you grab a hold of all of those. Let's see what the comments are saying. Karen says, just did that with my stencil, it worked like a champ. Donna Baker says, just playing is relaxing, Jan. Candice says, hello from Western Nebraska. Done with summer school, more time for CTV now. Whoop, whoop, excellent news. Eleanor says as well, I've got to get these to colour with those pixie sparkles. And Samantha Cheney says, love the card, Jan. So different. Should we check in with Bruce, see how he's getting on? How's Bruce doing? Oh, he's having a lovely time. He's really enjoying himself, I can tell. We're going to go back to those acrylic markers in just a second. But before then, we've got some pictures in. Another Karen sent us these ones in. Look at those pups.
I love their little bandanas as well, look.
Oh, they look fantastic. They look so happy. Katie and Sherry.
Oh.
Sorry, Johnny. Charlotte, can you say it, please?
Does he say Chevy? Chevy.
Casey and Sherry.
Chevy.
Casey and Chevy.
Yes.
Okay, excellent.
That's what I'm hearing.
What did you think?
And mine's not working properly.
Well, Bruce is perplexed as well as I am, honestly. He's like, what's going on? What are they on about in there, Joe? What are they like? That's what he's saying. Right, very, very busy. Let's go back to the acrylic markers. Still busy on this. The acrylic markers are limited stock. So if they are in your basket, now is the time to get these checked out. What you're going to get in here, of course, is you're going to get the brights, the essential, the jewel, and the pastel. Now, when it's the essentials which are going to go first. Now, when they go, you can still come back and get the other three. It's going to cost you £24. So, much better for you to get all of them together, which is awesome. You would be looking at $30 as well to get the 3 sets individually. So, far better value to get them all whilst they're on this collection. We only launched them about, a week and a half ago. And we had a really vast stock of these. They've been very popular. If you want to get them now before they sell out, please do. We will reorder them and get them back in stock, but who knows how long that will be down the line. I'm going to guess probably a couple of months or more. So if you've been thinking about them, if they are in your basket, check them out. If they're in your basket, you're a bit unsure, then maybe think about removing them from your basket. There's a queue of people lining up behind you to check theirs out. When it comes to versatility and fun, Jan, I think these are going to be quite hard to top, don't you?
Honestly, I've really enjoyed, as I say, I've been sat playing with these this last week while I've been prepping, and honestly, as I say, I was sat chuckling to myself thinking, this is what I call work, and I'm just getting to play with paint markers and colour things, and what else can I actually put them onto? I was just sort of moving them around in the packages here so that you can see the colours on them, and we'll have a closer look at them. So 4 sets in total. You've actually got your primary shades, so we've literally got blue, yellow, green and red in that one, so that's primaries. You've got the pastel shades, which are lilac, aqua, lime and rose in that one, so that's a set of 4. We've got the jewel shades, which are really nice sort of vibrant colours in that one, purple, violet, orange and pink, and then your essentials one. And like I said, if you are buying them individually, this is the one that's a must. I need them all, but if you can only run to one tonight, the Essentials one's got your gold and black, silver and white in there, and the white one for highlighting. And I know I've tried loads of different white pens. The one I've got at the moment is only a fine tip one, and it's a jelly one that I've been using, but I often have to go over 2 or 3 times to get the white on it, whereas this comes up beautifully every time. So let's have another play with these then while we've got them out. So I've just started earlier. This is one that I actually did playing at home. So again, just nicking the rocks out of the garden, and I popped a bit of gesso on this one first because it was such a dark colour. Just a little tiny bit of white gesso, thin coat on it just to give it a base to work on, and then did the markers over the top. And I've got a couple of different sets in there. I've got the green from the primary section, and then I've got the aqua and the lime from that pastel section. A little bit of the yellow in there, and just literally had a play with it, you know. And then the black one obviously to bring out those elements in between. Now I've just started playing with this one. I had an idea in my head. Now this one's not quite as dark, so I didn't put the gesso on, but you can see the difference with the colours. These are really vibrant.
Was it a white gesso you put behind it?
Yeah, over the white gesso, it's bringing out the colour in them more, whereas this one, I'm going to have to do a second coat to actually get that colour to be as vivid. So it might be worth, if you're doing anything like this, to actually just pop a layer of gesso over the top. So just give them a shake when you get them out. You can hear that ball bearing in there that's just mixing the paint up. And you've got this, I just love the fact that we've got the little window in here, which is literally going to show you, once this is upright, it's an indicator as to how much paint's left in there. So you know when you need to sort of restock them when you're getting low. And you probably find that you've got some colours that you use more than others, you know, not sort of saying, but this one's definitely going to be my go-to set for highlighting.
What is it about the Essential you like?
I just love the fact that you've got those set colours in there. As I say, the silver and the gold one I think are perfect for sort of handwriting. You know, things like Christmas cards. If you're making cards that are on a black base, it's going to stand out lovely. I'll show you on the black card in a second. Black one for outlining things. We all know that the black just makes the colours pop, and then that white one for highlighting as well. Just a really, really nice go-to selection that you're going to use. And then if you want the colours, obviously you've got the choices in there. So where I was heading with this one then, and as I say, I'm just going to go direct onto the pebble there, onto the stone. And if I go over this a second time now, we're going to get more opacity with the colour. So literally just...
Opacity, that's a good word.
Opacity,
we had
yeah.
Viscosity in the earlier show. Now we've got opacity in this
say.
one. I know.
Sometimes I surprise myself, Joe. I actually get the right word as well sometimes. Sometimes I think, no, that didn't sound right.
What was the one we talked about earlier?
We were talking about the beekeepers, weren't we?
Beekeepers?
Trying to find what was the name for the beekeepers?
Then there was the other one that we had in the later show. I'm going to have to find it again. Let me find it. I'm Googling, 1 second.
He's Googling. But again, you can see once we've gone over it a second time, we're going to get more depth of colour there. So I'm going to bring another one down this end here. So just be careful, be mindful that one's wet. And literally, I am drawing with these straight on to a rock that a couple of days ago was in my garden. You know, and this, I've washed it under the tap just to make sure it's not dirty. And I just think, you know, a product that's going to go straight onto something like stone. Honestly, the work has been done there. And just look at how well that's covering on the top of there. So what I was actually doing here, when we get going...
No, I've searched for it. I wasn't getting the kind of answers I'd anticipated, to be honest. So we'll have to be... Confelicity, that's it. Taking pleasure in other people's pleasure. Don't Google it. Throws up a whole host of different things. Tammy Sir, though. Oh, I've knocked my pack shot over. Tammy Sir, let me know. Confelicity, that was it. Thank you for that.
Oh, it's the... He's snorting again now, did you hear it?
Don't.
It makes himself laugh.
Don't Google it. Don't do that. It's the opposite of Schadenfreude.
Have you heard my funny story about Googling? I'm sure you have. So sure I've told you before.
But I feel like we're going to hear it right now, Jan.
Honestly, this is while I was working in school with a group of, I think there were probably about 8 to 9 year olds, I think, year 4 in primary school. We were in our ICT suite and we were working on a project on dragons. And I got them to Google Puff the Magic Dragon. And to my horror, I'm not even going to describe what came up on the screen, but I have never turned off 15 computer screens so fast in your life, because honestly, I couldn't believe what, and I'm thinking, And the computers had filters on them in school as well, and they still got through. It was nasty, honestly. I'll leave it to your own devices as to what it involved a tattoo on a body part. That's all I'm going to say.
I can hear...
It was scary.
I can hear viewing figures dropping as people go off to Google that exact thing,
Oh,
Jan.
honestly, it was frightening. It really was. So literally, what I was trying to, I don't know whether anybody's getting this yet. My artistic skills sort of like vary tremendously. Card making, I've got sussed. Mixed media and journaling, things like that, I've got sussed. But when it comes to sort of freehand...
I can see where you're going here.
Where am I going?
I can see a little Nemo.
Oh, excellent. It's not as bad then. Yeah, I thought we'd go for a little fish on this one rather than the... you could do all sorts. I know when Sarah was on with These Are the Lodge, I was watching her, she did a ladybird.
Yes.
He looked fantastic on the pebbles as well, that lends yourself. But as I say, great for working with the kiddies because they are water-based. If for any reason, you know, they get them on the skin or on the clothing and things, they will actually wash out. Joe showed you some samples on fabric earlier. Now, they're not a fabric marker. They will work beautifully on the fabrics, but it is more of a decorative element. I know Sarah talked about heat setting them with some paper over them and then the iron. But again, they won't stand up to machine washing. You would probably just have to hand wash them gently if you were going to do them on any kind of fabrics. As I say, they are more of a decorative element. But on something like this, once they're dry, you're going to get a really nice finish on them. So we've got his head there, we've got his scales. I want to give him, what colour body shall we have in there? Oh, we'll go with some purple and orange, a nice combination. And I don't know whether we've seen a fish this colour or not, but who cares? It's just artistic
I'm sure
license.
there's some out there somewhere.
So again, just come in with the purpley one.
Donna Baker says, rock painting is huge in Alaska. We paint them and leave them all over for others to find. That sounds good. Geocaching, is that what it is?
It is catching on, I think, here in the UK, because I know when we go up to our caravan, particularly at the seaside, there's a lovely walk along the front, along the promenade, which goes for miles. And we've often found them dotted along, and people put their information on the back. Not personal information, but the idea is that you take a photograph of them and you put them on social media so people know that you found it, and then you reposition them for someone else to find then. And, you know, it's a great, especially with the kiddies, it's a lovely activity to actually get them involved in. So yeah, just giving details to where they can find you on social media, and then you can actually pop a photo on to say that yes, I found your artwork, really enjoyed, and then as I say, you position them again somewhere different for somebody else to find, and it just goes on, a chain goes on. One of them we found said, you know, if you wish to keep this you can, or if you want to reposition it and place it in a different place, you know, feel free. So yeah, it is catching on here. I don't think it's taken off fully, but it does happen here in the UK.
Do you know what I'm kicking myself, Jan? Because would these go? How would these go on things like Shell? Do you think?
Again,
like a clam
I
shell.
would try it. Yeah.
Because I was down in Whitstable earlier in the week, and we went out for a meal, and basically in the entranceway to this restaurant, they were selling clamshells. They were 20 pence each.
Yeah.
And they were absolute whoppers. I bet could have got some of those and actually coloured them in with these and made lovely little soap dishes for the
Possibly,
bathroom.
yeah,
and stuff.
or little dishes, you know, just to pop your change in when you come in and things like, or your keys in, something like that. There's honestly, unlimited possibilities with them. When we come on the shows here, as I say, we only have sort of a small window of time for you, and it's just showing you some ideas, but you could go on, you know, absolutely for ages. I'm not going to carry on with this totally because I want to show you some other tricks as well. But the idea is I was just going to build him up, give him an eye, pop him a fin on probably, and make him into a little fish this time.
What are we going to call?
What shall we call him?
This fish.
He's got to be something to do with crafters, hasn't
Fandango.
he? Fandango.
Yeah, Fandango
Ooh,
the fish.
I like that. Fandango the fish. So I might get time to finish him up. If not, I'll try and finish him at home and pop him on my my Facebook page. But the other one that I wanted to show you, and I'm just going to bring the black cardstock back in here, is I was just having a play around at home. In fact, I've got some smooth card there, but again, you know, just your handwriting.
Oh, gorgeous.
Again, just with these.
That's
and all I've done
Jan.
is a couple of colours. I tried it in the white first and highlighted it with silver, and then I've tried it again in the pink and just highlighted it with the white. So again, if you like handwriting styles and things like that, let's do a nice, in fact, let's use one of these essentials. We'll use the gold one and see how we go. Has that one been? Oh, again, chance to show you how to work them. Look.
95% of the stock now gone
Oh,
on these.
they're
Jan.
hanging on by a thread. Hanging on by a
Must urge you,
thread.
if they are in your basket, do check them out, because the next update I'll be giving you will no doubt be sold out. So if you want them, you want the whole set, then now is your time to check out. When this bundle sells out, 3 of them will still be available. However, they'll be £24 or $30. So essentially at the moment when you get all 4, you're getting the extra one for £1 or $2. So definitely snap them up whilst they're at their best deal, which they are at the moment.
So all I've done, Joe, when they come to you, the nibs, the paint's inside the marker and the nibs are white. So obviously we need to get that paint down there. So first of all, give them a good shake. You can hear that ball bearing in there, and you mix all that paint up inside where it may have settled, where you've had them laid down. And then again, just pump that nib onto a piece of scrap card, and just be patient with it because it needs to start bringing the paint down. And I can just see now it's coming. You can see on the nib there where it's changing from white and the gold's actually starting to come down onto the nib. So just be, give it a second or two, and you can see now how that's actually literally coated that nib, and we've got the gold paint ready to flow. So again, all I've done here, this is actually this one's matte black card from our 300 GSM packs of card, but this is actually a little bit smoother. This is from the big A4 pads, and it's actually the black one that you can use the metallic. It came and we brought it out when we brought the metallic markers out, and it's a little bit smoother. So that's what I've actually worked on here. So we'll just keep that bit just to make sure the paint's flowing. And again, whatever it is, I'm going to stick with the same one because I practiced that at home, but you've got that lovely bullet nib. So I always do the outlining of the letter first. So we're going to go from the A. Don't worry about the thick and thin bit at the moment, to the L. We're going to bring in the W, and I like to sort of do the up and down bit. A, and then onto the Y, and then onto the S there. Okay, so you've actually got the basis of your word then, and then you can come in. So typically when you're doing things like, by no means am I an expert on calligraphy, but when you're doing the sort of the brush lettering, your downstroke is the thicker stroke and the upstroke is the thinner one. So I'm going to go back in now, and actually where I would have started at the top here and come down, because this is a downstroke, I'm actually going to thicken this line up, just to make it look as if we've actually drawn it
in a bit of a cheaty way, but actually getting a really nice result.
Yep, because we've not got the facility with the brush nib on these. With the brush nib, you can actually flatten it and get that thick downstroke, and then bring it up to the tip and get the light upstroke. But this is just a cheat's way of doing it. So everywhere we went up here, so keep it thin, but then when we came down again, I'm actually going to thicken this one up again with the pen. So you can actually go back in afterwards and actually thicken it up. So again, coming up, coming down. So this one was a downstroke, up and down. So wherever you've come down with your pen, just thicken it up a little bit. We've gone up again, we've come down. Again, down at this side, down on this one, and then down on. And I've tapered this out as I've got to the bottom because you sort of come round to come up again. All right, and then up to the top, we've come down a little bit here. And I'm going to leave it like that with the gold, all right? And then if you come in with one of your other colours, so we'll actually take the white one, should show up nicely on there now. That one's been started. So just make sure that your paint's flowing. And it dries fairly quickly. We're actually pretty good to go on there now. So again, depending on how you want to do this, sort of work one way or the other. You're either going to sort of put all the highlights at this side, or you're going to bring them all at this side, but try not to mix them. So if we go this way, I'm literally going to put a highlight on the right-hand side of everything. So on here, on where I've done that thick stroke, we're going to bring that highlight on there as well, just to sort of bring in the light and bring that across. And again, you know, if you like doing your own handwriting on things, particularly if you're a scrapbooker or anything like that, and you do sort of enjoy doing your own writing, again, these are beautiful to work with. So just to give you an idea there, and then if you want to just give it a flourish, you know, you can decide how you want to.
Nice, that's excellent, Jan. And what a great way, I mean, for people that do struggle with brush lettering, you know, it's one of those things you've got either a knack for, you haven't really, isn't it?
It's
And
just
maybe
practice.
that would be an easier way for people to
Yep.
get into it.
Yeah, and again, it's just practice, you know, and if all else fails, I mean, I've just done that freehand because I'd had a go at it, but, you know, if all else fails, grab your pencil first, you know, cheat. Oh, nobody knows. Grab your pencil and actually map out where you want to, you know, whatever your word's going to be, map it out, and just so that you've got a line to follow rather than, you know, is it going to fit? Am I going to run out of space? However you want to work it, you know, it doesn't have to be. Nobody's going to know that that pencil mark was under there in the first place. So again, just to finish off with, we did the little bit on there. That one's still a little bit wet there. Just give it a second or two to dry off, and again I'm sticking with that right hand side there, but you can see how easy that's come together. And as I say, if it's something that you enjoy doing, you've got that sort of facility. So the first one was silver with the white highlight, we had the pink with the white highlight, and then we've got the gold with the white on there. But have a
Beautiful.
play around with the colours, you know, see what you can come up with. Look at different words. The other one that I tried was be kind. You know, sort
Yeah.
of something that we always sort of focus on, but just have a play with it and see what you can come up with. As I say, it's great for scrapbooking, titles and things like that. So yeah, lots of different things for you to do with. And if you weren't with us up at the top of the show, we were looking at working on CDs. So again, directly onto the CD, we did the mermaid shells on there. You can just still see, I've not prepped this in any way at all. It's still got the CD underneath it there. And then again, I've got some little like coated chipboard pieces, which are a really nice smooth surface, and again just freehand on there. It's a little bit sketchy, it's not quite as straight as it could be, but I did literally go straight onto the heart with it there. So many different things you can do. And then we've got little Fandango that's halfway finished,
Oh,
along
poor
with
little
my
Fandango.
patchwork one that I did at home there. So yeah, and that's just a few. As I say, we get limited time here when we're on TV, so there's hundreds. If you look at the description on our website, it goes through, you know, sort of things like wood, glass, ceramics, tiles, anything like that. It will work on paper. I did try it in my art journal, because, you know, occasionally I bring the art journal with me, but the paper was just a little bit too porous, and it was actually taking the top off the paper. So next time I try it, I'm going to gesso it first. The
Awesome.
gesso actually preps it, and it will work on top of there. So next time, if I get a chance to bring these back for you, I'll do some work in the art journal, because I know one or two of you have taken that up. I've seen photos that you've published on my social media to say that you've had a go at it.
You know what these would be
So, yeah.
great for, don't you?
Pardon?
You know, if when people get people to colour their casts in, you
Oh,
actually have
yes.
a cast on.
Yeah.
How great would these be for that?
Fantastic,
Absolutely
yeah.
amazing. Right, let me also share. I have a bit of a strange thing to say, but I always had visions. You know, if anyone ever like broke their leg or their arm or something at school, everyone there with like biros trying to colour them in.
Oh,
I mean,
gosh,
you could
yeah.
imagine going
Oh,
for
just
these.
go
You
in with
could
one of these, you'd be well away, wouldn't you? Yeah, no
absolutely. You
problem.
could write whatever you wanted on there. What you've got here, of course, so you can use these on fabric. They're not fabric markers, but they absolutely work beautifully for something decorative. This is also excellent. This is a ceramic bowl. You imagine getting these just from charity
That's
shops and
gorgeous,
upcycling
isn't
them.
it?
How fantastic is that? This has given me an idea, actually. I need a bowl about this size to put my bath bombs in, Jan. So
Oh,
maybe I could just
yeah.
get myself, you know, one from a charity shop
Just
and just
a
use the
cheapy
acrylic
one, yeah,
markers.
and then have a
yeah,
go.
Absolutely.
Oh.
This is beautiful as well.
Yep.
This one here, which is kind of, I'm not sure if it's part finished or that is how it is, but I love it. However, it's meant to be. I think it looks really gorgeous and abstract, something everyone can have a go at, and actually then maybe start thinking up to working towards bigger projects as well. Cheryl Clayton's done
That's
that one.
stunning, isn't
Cheryl
it?
Clayton's also done the photo frame that is housing Bob as well. Bob's having a lovely time. I mean, he's really enjoyed the show. He was it?
Did you just change from
Did
Bruce
I
to Boris
just
then?
call him Bruce? Did I call him Boris or Bob?
Bob? I don't know. I thought you called him Boris.
He's called Bruce. I don't know. He didn't correct me, so He is in fact called Bruce. Oh, it's on his bib as well. There we are. Not sure. Sorry about that, Bruce. Boris, Bob, Bruce. Tracy Birdsell's talking about, you're talking about the pebbles and stuff, the coloured pebbles, Jan.
Yeah.
She says, what you paint on the back of the rock is the name of the Facebook group, so the person who found the rock can post a picture of themselves and the rock and where they found it to the Facebook group.
Yeah.
She says people like to take them out of town and hide them in other cities, so the original artist gets a kick out of seeing their rock travel.
Yeah, absolutely
There you
brilliant.
are. I quite like that idea.
Yeah.
I might
fun,
do
isn't
some
it?
and, scatter them around the marina near me, see where my pebbles travel to. Diana Bisland says beautiful lettering. Aisha loving them too. A lot of you having a good old chuckle about Bob. Sorry, Bruce. How could I get your name wrong? If you want to get these, it really is the last call now for these. In fact, you know what? I'm going to give you an opportunity to check out your basket. I don't want you to miss out on these. So what we'll do is I will take a little look at how you can watch and shop at the same time, all the details of Club Inspire.
Hi, I'm Sarah from Crafters TV, and I'm here to show you how you can get the best deals and shop while you watch during our shows. The best way to watch us is always on Crafters TV. So head over to our homepage and go to Crafters TV Home, where you can see all of our shows, plus exclusive offers, and even shop while you watch. Now, if you want to get involved and comment along, you can head on over to our community pages. Come say hello, ask us some questions and chat along live with us. Or you can watch us on YouTube. Simply head to our Crafters Companion YouTube channel. Got a smart TV? You can even airplay our shows direct onto your big screen or stream us live through YouTube. We're constantly adding new and exciting shows to our schedule, so don't forget to check in. It's never been easier to have us in your living room. It's always fun here at Crafters TV, so come join us as we create every day. Welcome to Club Inspire, the Crafters Companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% off your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every £1, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
Hannah Hicks has got to the bottom of it. Bruce, his undercover pup name is Bob. He's a secret agent, apparently. Is that what Paw Patrol's about? Secret agent dogs?
I don't
If it's
know.
not, then that's what it should be about. Anyway, we're going to move on to the Eclipse stamp. Now, these are awesome. What it is a really fantastic alphabet set for you, which you can use in their own right as a standard alphabet set, but when you do this Eclipse technique with them, is when they really come into their own. And what I mean by that is using all of these incredible stamps that you've got to go with them. So this one here is your Stars and Celebrations. You're also going to receive the Beautiful Blossoms. Then you've got your birthday balloons, and finally, butterflies in flight as well. And one of those things, Jan, I think if you've never tried this before, it's going to become like your new favourite thing to do, isn't it?
It is. It's a great way of sort of adding a focal point to your card, you know, so whether it be a sentiment that you're looking for, whether it's for a particular person, so, you know, you want mum, dad, sister, friend, whatever, it's a really nice way to sort of focus that. And I've just got a few samples again to show you what we mean by them. So you get the stamp set to create the backgrounds with. That way, no, that way. Do you know, one of these days I'll get this right. Back to front, upside down. I've only been doing this like, what, 3 years now. So again, you can see there that we've done the background and then you die cut through the background and you get, so the letters literally have the pattern in place, but they're just slightly, if I tilt it, you can see they're just raised that little bit to show whatever colour you've matted and layered on behind. So it's a really unusual effect. It's called eclipse because you've actually got that coverage of the background there. So again, we've got the one with the roses on there. So again, creating the background, which is what we're going to do first with the demo. We're going to look at the background set and create that first, and then die cut the word out of it. So that one's friend on there. We can actually make, this one's happy, that rose, that stencil. We've had that on the show before, background stencil there with the lettering cut out, you know, sort of gone diagonal on that one. And then again, you know, perfect for if you've got a new baby in the family. It's a boy on this one, so that's using those balloons in the background there. So, you know, lots and lots of different ways of using them. Again, it could be a banner. I know I keep going back to scrapbooking, but there are a lot of people out there that are scrapbookers, so it could be a way of doing your heading, your title on a scrapbooking page. So what I've actually done then is I've cut 2 pieces of card this time, and we're actually going to do sort of an overlaid stamping effect. So my first one is a 7-inch square, and then on the inside I've got a 5-inch square, and what I'm going to do is just very, very gently on the back of that one, I'm just going to pop a little tiny bit of my dotty tape pen on there just to secure it, and we're going to stamp over both layers. So I want this in the centre here. I'm just going to eyeball that so that it's sort of centred, and I don't want it to sort of completely secure. I just want it to sort of tack it down so that it doesn't move when we're stamping. And then I'm going to bring it onto my stamping mat here. I've just popped a piece underneath because we're going to be stamping over the edge again. Now I actually chose the stars and celebration ones here, and there's some really, really nice sort of versions of stamps and stars in here. So again, if you have it, you can just see where my colours have just tinged slightly. The purple ones just tinged the stamps, but they will come nice and clear for you. And any ink on here, it doesn't damage the stamps, it's just the pigment in the ink that stains them. So again, you've got a nice sort of large focal one, lots of little ones. I love this bit here on this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to use all the stamps, and we're just going to make ourselves a background piece. So I've just taken my little stamping platform, and this time I'm flicking, I've moved away from the pigment inks and I've gone to my quick dry inks. Like I said, each ink has got a purpose, and for this I want to be able to move on and do all the stamping without any risk of smudging it. So I've taken the 3 from the purple one, so we've got Pale Fig, Crushed Velvet and Damson Wine, and then I've just added the pink tulip in there just as sort of an accent colour in it as well. So we're going to start out with the light one first, and I'm literally just going to grab one of the stamps, ink it up, and I'll try and be as quick as I can. I've actually got this done ready for you guys, but I want to show you how I arrived at it. Don't think about the composition, just go for it. Okay. So pop it down, don't worry about where you're actually stamping things, you know, and I'm literally going to go, the light one doesn't show up brilliantly, but when we get into the darker colours. So I'm actually going over the edge of where the 5-inch square piece was to the 7 here. So I've got part of the star on the smaller piece of card and part of it gone over the edge of the card. So my apologies with this pale colour, it will show up better when we start using the darker ones. And again, start off with sets of 3 and just randomly position, you know, so that they're not all stuck together. And then next one I'm going to come in with is, let's have a look, we'll go with, where shall we go? We'll bring this nice one in. I love this bit here. So we've gone, just lay it onto your platform, and I'm going to bring in the next purple now, which is Crushed Velvet. So this is the mid-tone. This will actually show up a bit better for you. And as I say, it's just the pigment that stains the stamps. The photopolymer stamps, really good quality. You're going to get a lovely crisp image, but don't be worried. As I say, it tends to be the purples, the pinks, the reds, things like that. It's whatever's in them, the pigment in them, that actually stains them. So again, stamp off the edge of your page. It looks better than having everything inside the area that you're working. So again, you can see much better. And don't worry about the fact that there's a little tiny gap here where I've gone over the 2 layers of card. Won't see that when we've actually finished. I'll show you what I'm going to do with it. So again, bring these off the edge, turn them round so that you've got them in different ways. and don't really think too much about where it's going to go. Just work in your sets of 3 again and ink it up again.
And I'm guessing a great way to create background papers away from this alphabet collection too, Joan.
Absolutely. You know, again, you know, a stamp is something. If you look after your stamps, they're going to last you a lifetime. And the only thing that they don't really like, and this is something I have to be careful with because I craft in my conservatory, and the only thing that they're not so keen on is heat. Okay. So I tend to make sure that all my stamps are kept in a box and they're not in direct sunlight. I shouldn't say heat really, I mean direct sunlight. So as I say, with it being a conservatory, I have to be careful with mine that it doesn't sort of get onto the stamps. So we're literally going to move on now. I've taken another stamp and I'm going to move to the dark one, which is the Damson Wine. So again, inking up. This is a really, really, what I call a proper purple colour, this one. And again, look where your gaps are. You know, I've got one right in the middle there. Okay. And we're going to take it off the edge again.
Really
so that
good
it
coverage,
looks,
isn't it, in the darker tone?
Yeah, and the fact that it's the quick dry, you know, you've not got to worry about smudging it. It literally dries instantly. So look where you've got the designs already and literally take it right over the edge of your layers and across to the edge of the paper. So we've got a little bit missing off that one. And then have a think about where you've got your gaps. And I'm going to go with a bit down in this corner here. So just on that outside panel, and then just one last little bit. I know I said sets of 3 initially, but then if you've got gaps, I'm just going to spin this round and pop a little bit up here just to fill some of that edge in. Okay, whoops, oh, it's on my paper, it's all right. So I missed a bit there, but it's on the paper. So just give that get the residue off there. This is how I end up covered in ink because I'm just handling the stamps. And then you've got some little tiny ones here. So I'm just going to pop these in with some of the pink, which again is quite a pale one, but it just tones in nicely. So again, look where your gaps are and just pop and just have a play. As I say, there's no right and wrong with this. You know, it builds up. You think, you know, you might start thinking, oh, it's not looking very good, but just continue with it. Don't be afraid to overlap some of them, you know, so you might get to a point where you think, well, actually, I'm going to bring that into the other design. No problem. And again, wherever you've got the gaps, whoops. We've got 1, 2, 3. We'll just bring one down to that edge there. And then there's so many little accents in here, there really is. So again, you've got this lovely little cluster of stars, and I'm going to bring those in with the light colour again, just to mix and match it. So again, wherever you've got gaps in there, we've got a gap going on there. Whoops. We've got a gap going on in, whoops, let me just pop that back in there. Pressed a bit hard then. That's it. So we've got, pop some inside there. And then one more just off the edge there. So you get the idea with it, yeah? There's just one last one that I want to do on there, which is this lovely little circle of stars there. And again, I'm going to carry on with the pink, just because I don't want to overpower it too much. And this is where I did start overlapping here. That actually looks quite nice overlap with the other circular design. Oh, I've stayed with the lilac, not to worry. All right, so 1, 2, and the last one can come off the edge down there. So again, as I say, I'm not really thinking too much about where things are positioned. You just want the coverage on there. All right, so we'll leave it at that. Could fill a few more of the spaces in if you want to. There's a few little bits. There's all sorts of extras. You've got some little stars on here, different versions of that original star, but we'll leave it there for now with what I'm doing with stamping. Pop those back on there, pop my carrier sheet back on to keep them safe. And then what we're going to do is we're going to die cut into this. So let me just move those inks out of the way and bring in that alphabet now. So I actually want to take the alphabets through the top layer. So where we had it tacked together, because I just used the little dots, it's come apart nice and easy. Now, if you're not sure, you know, you can match it up again how it fixes, but I tend to, just to save me having to mess around with it when I've finished, I tend to just mark which is the top section, so it's nice and easy to go back together. So then what we're going to do is we're going to take our alphabet, and I just love the size of this alphabet. As I say, not just for this particular technique, but just in general as an alphabet. It's a really nice size for fitting on the card fronts. So I'm going to take off the letters to spell the word star, seeing as that's what we've actually been working with on our background. And we're going to bring in our Gemini plates here, and literally pop these along the bottom here. So I want them sort of about a third of the way up. Just space them out so that you've got a nice little gap in between them there. And then just sort of adjust them so that they've got them pretty much centered. And then obviously we need to tape those down to make sure that they don't move. So again, I'm just going to go in sets of 2 and tape them in place so that we've got them lined up nicely.
Are we right taping over that ink? We don't need to worry about removing that,
Nope,
Jan, no?
not at all.
Awesome.
All right, so again, we've got those on there. We're going to pop the shims in place and then pass those through our Gemini. And that's going to take those letters out. But what it's done is it's kept all that pattern in place, so that when we put them back in, the pattern looks consistent, but you're going to see sort of almost like a shadowing effect from the background. So when we take those away now, just be careful where those little dots were. Okay, oops, we've got one. Oh, look at that. I managed to get a bit that's not actually got any pattern on, would you believe, after all that stamping, and I've managed to get a bit that's still white. So just roll the tape rather than pull it off. And I find that it does less damage to your design there. So again, just get rid of the tape, and we'll pop that to one side. So what we should end up with is part of the design. You see that one's actually got part of that design on the letters. We managed to get a whole piece there that was just white cardstock, but again, like I said, at home you can probably build up your design a bit more. So just be gentle with that tape, and as I say, by rolling it, I find that it comes off a little bit easier than just tearing it off to start with. Okay, and then again, we've got the letters there, and what you need to remember is to keep those little bits that we would normally get rid of. So for example, I've got the little bits, let me just show you what I mean. I need some, I'll pop it on there. You need something coloured. So let me just pop these up on here so that you can see what I mean. When we put these back together, when you've got your A, we need this part as part of the background here. So this bit needs to go back in here.
Right.
Yeah, so keep those little bits. The same, any letters that have got those centre pieces in, we need the letter itself, but we also need that little piece that's going to make up the design there. So that's what I meant by hanging on to those bits. Normally we'd pop those out and discard them because we don't actually need them. Pop the letters to one side. So we've got all our letters. I did really well there. I managed to get one letter that's got some stamping on, look. All the rest of them are almost clear. There's a little tiny bit of the lilac, but you'll see the idea with the one that I've prepared. So we've got that far, and then you want some matting and layering. So I'll bring in the ones that I did at home because I've actually matted them onto some lilac card.
Nice.
And now you can see through the back where that lettering was, and I've added those little pieces back in place that I was talking about here. So that's going to be that top layer, and I've got the letters to fit back in here that I've got the patterning on to match my design. So that was that top one, and I've done this in exactly the same manner as I did that one that I've just shown you. But by adding your matte and layer, you know I said don't worry about where there's a gap between the two layers of card here. Once you've matted and layered, so we've literally, I've got, this bit came out of here, you know, don't waste your cardstock. We're going to layer this one on here. And then because we've just got that little tiny 1/8 of an inch mat, it's going to block any of those little gaps.
It looks really smart.
And it means that your stamping looks as if it's continuous through from one layer to the next, all right? So we need to make sure these are stuck down properly because I've just got this on the little dots that I'd used to stamp it out like I showed you. So I'm going to run some tape across there just to make sure that it's secure. And I've already stuck in those little pieces that I needed for the lettering there. So when we pop that on now, we've just got that little thin border all the way around, and that is enough to cover up those elements, and you can see what I mean about marking which was the top bit so that I don't have to worry about how it's going to go back together. Same again, look. So this one's going to go onto that next layer. And again, as I say, if you're using your nice cardstock, you know, don't waste it under a piece where it's not going to be seen. I knew that I needed a smaller section to do that top matten layer, so I've literally chopped it out of the middle of this one. So literally we're going to pop that one on as a matten layer as well, and then a piece that was left of the cardstock, I'm going to run that across the middle. All right, so it just slightly lower so that it goes in line with the letter in there. So think about where we're going to have this one, and then I want to sort of run this as if the letters are going to be stood on it, so about there, and that just the same width as the mat. It was just what was left over when I'd finished cutting. So let me get rid of that out of the way so that you can see. Bring in my card blank. So this is a shop bought 8x8 card blank there, so it's slightly less than 8x8. They always give you the envelope measurements,
okay.
So it'll just be underneath there. So again, let's get these stuck down, and then we're going to start and insert those letters back in there to make that eclipse look. Now I've put my letters on foam just to raise them a little bit, rather than, if you stick them straight back in the gap, you're not going to get that sort of eclipse effect. They want raising a little bit so that you can see some of the colour underneath. And what I would recommend doing is just to outline your letters either with some ink or with a pen or something, just to give them a little bit of an edge. So again, we're going to pop this one back in place and cover that area that looked as if we'd missed it with the stamping. And once we line it up, it looks as if you've got continuous stamping going on there. Okay, so just on there. Now, you know, you might want to stop at that. It looks great with the underneath like part showing, yeah? But what I've actually got is my letters that I cut out, just like I did with that one we've just shown you. But these have actually got a little bit more patterning on. Now, here we go with the foam pads, because I had to cut these down really, really tiny. But what I've done is I took one of my marker pens and I've just gone round the edges of it, just to create a border against the white card so that it shows a little bit better. So these are really tiny. I'm hoping I can get the backs off them. Our producer's laughing his socks off now, because I don't half set myself up, do I? Here we go, look. So
are they tiny foam pads?
The ones that I've just chopped up. So they started out life as a square foam pad, and I've just chopped them. Because the letters are so thin, I've just chopped them down to the size that I needed them. But then I thought, well, I've got to get all the backs off them then. But so far, so good. Tweezers to the rescue again, because they're so small. And rather than dropping that exactly back in place where it came out of, I'm just going to drop it slightly to the right so that it's just showing a little bit of that purple as a shadow. So let's just, oh, here we go, look. Try my best. Okay.
Have you got a finished one here, Jan?
I haven't. No.
Oh, we'll be done in just a second.
It literally,
we're gonna have an express card.
Are we? Look at
we're
the
gonna
time.
have an express
Where
card
does
of the
the
show
time
and
go?
card of the day after this, Jan.
Honestly.
So it's fastest fingers first, guys. Ready yourself. Amy, I apologise. She's gonna have to do some rapid counting after this.
Oh, bless. Literally, I've just got to stick the letters down, and then I've got a sentiment, and then we're done. So again, we've got that A in there. And as I say, all I'm doing is hovering over where it came out of and just slightly dropping it to the right-hand side so that it's exposing some of that, that purple underneath. So again, oh, they're being kind to me tonight. Last little bit. Look at that, all 4 letters. That's got to be a record. And there over the top, just drop it slightly, and you can just see that little bit of purple. And then all I've done, because it says star on there, found out one of my stamp sets that just says you're a superstar.
Awesome.
Okay, so that one's going to go on the top. That one's going to go on the middle there. Whoops. And you're a superstar.
Okay, awesome.
So, show you that one from the front. Phew.
Fantastic.
So
Did you want to grab the other bits that you have made?
Right. So let me just move all that to one side then. So top of the show, we did a lot of techniques with the acrylic markers, didn't we? But I don't know we'll just have a look at the cards, I think, because obviously we can see how those. So to start off then, we use those beautiful resist stamps. So this was number 1.
Awesome,
we did
number
those
1.
wild flowers with the embossing powder and the ink behind them. So number 1 there.
Excellent.
Number 2 was those 12 by 12 stencils with the chalk paint there. And
Fabulous.
then we just borrowed a section. Can you see how that glossy highlight's starting to
really
clear
nice.
now as it's drying? Yeah, that was number 2. And then number 3, we've got that eclipse element there with the star.
Awesome.
All right, so
we're
1, 2
gonna
or
have
3.
We're going to have a 1-minute vote, right?
Ooh.
Fastest fingers first. You've got 60 seconds to vote. Crafters TV on Facebook, Crafters Companion if you're across on YouTube. Let me take you back through everything that you're getting then here in these incredible Eclipse stamp. Now the alphabet, just as an alphabet on their own, are amazing and great value at that price. You've got to get those in there. Use them in the Eclipse style. Use them in a regular fashion if you want to. It's great to have the option of using them for both. And then what you are, of course, going to get is all of the different stamps that you need in there to really be able to create a whole host of different styles of project, whether it is cardstock. These are also going to look great in things like scrapbooks as well. Home decor, these are wonderful for. Door plaques look great done with these. There's so many different ways in which you can take these, which is excellent. 3077 or 3626 is excellent value for Club Inspire Platinum members. Everyone, of course, getting that Club Inspire discount. The acrylic markers, it really is last chance saloon now. They are, if they don't go in the show, in the next few minutes, they are going to go just after the show. Bruce is looking tense, to be honest. He's called Bruce, isn't he? Yes, Bruce is looking tense. And remember what you're getting in here. You're getting the Brights, the Essentials, the Jewel, and the Pastels. If you're watching this show back at a later date, I'd check the website for the stock situation, but pretty sure that it will have gone. If it's in your basket at the moment, check it out. That's Bruce's message. Anyway, Bruce says, check them out or you're going to miss out. That's what Bruce says. Right, we're just waiting for, I can feel it. It's it's on the cusp of coming through, the result. I'm manifesting it. We've got a couple of pictures to share with you whilst we wait for the result. Mary sent this one into us, the lovely Mary Fugate. Oh, dog and cat playing together there. How cool is that?
Little friends, that's lovely, isn't it?
They are friends. Susie T sent this one into us as well.
Look at that.
He's on his Ollibobs.
That's perfect. He's got his sun hat on.
Just looking absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, that is hilarious.
Definitely sat in the shade there with his sun hat on. Beautiful.
Mary's dog was which one? Oh, the dog with the cat it's called Coco Chanel. I love it. What a great name for a dog. Right, we're going to do the fastest card of the show you've ever been privy to. So we have options for you. You've got number 1, Jan's Wake Up Call. You have got number 2, Leanne's Launch Day, or number 3, Jan's Colour Me Happy. You have got 30 seconds to vote. That is all you've got. So go. Crafters TV on Facebook, of course, Crafters Companion on YouTube. Remember what's coming up tomorrow. It is a Super Saturday on the way for you. We have got Play Your Crafts Right. I'm feeling quietly confident. How are you feeling, Jan?
I might have to do a bit of revision tonight, Joe.
Midday in the UK, 7 a.m. on the East Coast. Make sure you join us for that. There's lots of great things on there, and the Winner's Circle, of course, too, where you'll be able to grab a bargain. And then the Craft Along as well, which is happening tomorrow at 3 p.m. in the UK, 10 a.m. on the East Coast. And it's the Build a Bouquet, Jan. Exciting.
It is Build a Bouquet, and then I'm going to show our lovely customers how to make that sort of deconstructed frame, which I've demoed before. But I thought if I actually do it with you guys, once you've made it yourselves, you'll see how it actually fits together and how you can adjust it to any size then.
Fantastic.
Forward to it.
So double Jan here tomorrow for you. And then, of course, Tiffany will be up for Craft House in the evening. Myself and Tiffany with a totally Tiffany takeover. Yes, so do go and have a look now. You can go and have a look. It would be, wouldn't it? It would have to be this vote that is really tight. I mean, I can feel Amy's nerves from here coming through
bless.
the iPad. We're going to take it right down to the wire. I mean, we've only got 1 minute and 20 seconds left. Will we get the result by the end of the show? Will we not? Who knows? What I will say to you is don't forget to check out your baskets. on the acrylic markers if they are in there. Very busy for everything you've seen. Remember, if you want to have a look at everything that was on the show, there's a load of mixed media product that we didn't even get a chance to show you. You can pop yourself over to the website crafterscompanion.co.uk.com or .eu where you will be able to see absolutely everything in the show. Well, it's actually number 3, the Eclipse card, is a card of the day. Is the Eclipse card. There we are. It was very close with number 1. Phew, Amy says. Amy, you are an absolute superstar. So we'll pop that up onto the Cabinet of Creativity. Oh, it's a tough week this week, Jan.
Is it?
We'll see. The winner, of course, for the card of the week will be decided in Second Chance Sunday. That'll be myself and the fish, which will be awesome. Jan, can I say a massive thank you? It was a pleasure to get to spend the day with you today.
You are welcome. Yes,
awesome.
And I'll see you. We'll do it all again tomorrow.
Absolutely, we will. Big thanks to Jake and John. Also, big thanks to Johnny and Charlotte as well. If you are across in the US, enjoy the rest of your day. If you are here in the UK, enjoy what's left of your evening. We'll see you all here for another full day of fun and crafting tomorrow on Crafters TV. Take care.